try as much as possible to not hold any knowledge and share as many knowledge that I can share. Today, I'll just give you the introductions to the workshop, the program, and then we'll talk about the roadmap in the analytics. I will share the plans with you as well. If there are time, I may also speak about some data literacy and give you ideas about literacies and the fundamentals of data. And then I'll also give times for Q&A. So that's what we'll be doing today. If you can hear me loud and clear, I want everybody to go to the chat and just say something in the chat. In the Teams chat, just go to the chat and just say, I can hear you. The color of your hair is black, or I can see you. I can see you. I can see your slide. So just say something. And if you can't hear anything, you can just leave the call and enjoy back again. I like Abdul Malik. He said, you are human. Yes, I am actually human. Nice headset. Okay. So guys, you guys can hear me. Okay. Interesting. So it means we can start. I'll also make sure that we are recording the session. Please, Samson, if we are not, please, okay. Yeah, I think the session has been recorded, which is great. So I will go into, I'll usually start my sessions, especially introduction sessions, with this quote that says the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. This quote is made by Brian Herbert. And I like this quote a lot because if you want to learn, if you want to be greater in life, I think you have to be serious yourself. You have to have the willingness to actually learn. And then that's actually a choice. So a lot of people will fall off at the middle of this session, I know. So many people will run away. So many people will say, I can't bear it again. So many people will start dropping. But you should know that the willingness to learn is your own choice. So if we can give you our time to say, let's provide what we can do to give back to the community, you should also be able to provide your own time to learn and get better with whatever you are doing. I'm sure maybe at some point, you may be some people like Samson that we've trained in the past that are now working in different companies. In fact, I know a guy that was now working in the UK. I know someone that's working in the US now. So, and this is just based on their own determination to say, I want to learn and I want to be better in this thing. So the willingness to learn is your own choice. Just make sure that this quote is very important to you. You can always make sure that you are ready to learn. So I will also not go by not introducing the co-host. I'm the host of this, but these are my team, the people that make sure that this workshop is a success today. We have Pelumi Aroshai, who is also a co-host of this program. And then we also have Joseph Fadero as well. He's also a co-host of the program as well. Those are the people that make this workshop is success. And then another set of interesting people that I would also like to introduce to you are the moderators and the coordinators, right? They are also part of the people that make this workshop interesting and lively for you. There's a lot of work that we've done in the background that we are now throwing up to you guys now to make your learning journey easy for you. So I'm going to introduce Okubena Yetunde. She's the lead coordinators of the entire program. And then she has been doing a lot of background work as well to make sure that everything runs successfully. And then we also have Kasali Samson. Samson is also an amazing person. He's the coordinator of AEM1 and also a moderator. I can see a lot of interactions from him already, and Samson is actually a great guy. So if you have not met him in person, he's a great guy. Also moves to Esther Unduke. Esther is also the lead coordinators of AM2. She's the one in charge of AM2 and then making sure that the team are actually running effectively. And we also have Ngozi Uge. She's the AM3 coordinator. She's the one in charge of AM3, making sure things are running here. And then we also have some other moderators that are coordinators that will be coming on the sessions as well to moderate some of the sessions. And then they are also here at the back end just to make sure that these sessions and this entire program is running smoothly. And another thing is, I want us to give a round of applause to all of them. They've give their time. We are not paying them. We all know that this is free, and then they all give their time to be able to make sure that this is a success. I'm sure if you go to any paid program, we can't do more than this, than what we are currently doing now. And all of them just give their times without collecting any kobo. So thank you so much, guys, for doing this with us. Another interesting people, the amazing people I would like to introduce are your team lead, the people you choose yourself to be your leader. And then I can tell you some of them their energy is something else. And I can mention to Lope, especially I can see a lot of energy from her and her team, and I can say that that team is actually a team of energy. So I'll start by introducing team one. That's Tolulope Ajala. She's the team lead of AEM1, and then they have been their team has been very, very interactive. In fact, I can say this is the best team I've seen so far. Big thank you to Tolulope being the team lead, and you guys choose her. So let's continue supporting her to the end of the program so that we can all finish with flying colors. And then we also have AEM2, another amazing person, Olajide Abdulatif. She's the team lead of AEM2. Sorry there, I think it's showing AEM1 instead of AEM2. Let me just be sure that I change that so we are not confusing each other. Yeah. So sorry, Latif. I wanted to do, so this is a technical issue. Yeah, and that is solved. So Latif is the team lead of AM2. And then we have the third person, which is Uluwakemi Falade. She's also the team lead of AM3. So these are your team lead, the people that have devoted their time to make sure that this group is a success. So well done to all of them. We also be bringing some featured industry experts that will be coming to speak with you along the line in the sessions. We're bringing a lot of the speakers that you already know, the industry standard, people from all over the world to come and speak with you as well, not just people in Nigeria. So this session is packed with a lot of benefits for you. And then another thing I want to share with you is the complete data analytic roadmap, because it is very important for you to know if you are going into a data analytic profession, because when we actually create the form for you to sign in, we've seen that there are some basic people that are in the basic side, some people are in intermediate, some people are in advanced. But whether you're a basic person or intermediate or advanced, it is very important for you to understand the roadmap of data analytics and how you can actually go through this later to actually get something meaningful from this complete roadmap. A lot of people will say, I've learned the skills, which is the roadmap starting from learning the skills. First of all, before you can call yourself a data analyst, you need to learn the skill first, right? So, but some people say, okay, I've learned the skills, nothing, I've been looking for a job, there's no job, I've been trying to improve myself, nobody's giving me opportunity. Just know that you need to actually build yourself well. And the way to do this is to start with learning the skills. Make sure you learn the skills very well. Keep practicing, practicing, and practicing. Nobody knows it all. Even me with my almost 12 years experience, I'm still learning, right? So learning the skills, that's the first thing, very important. Then after you learn the skill, especially if you are just getting started in your career, it is essential and very important for you to build a project, right? You need to build different projects. You need to just get your hand dirty on different projects, get this data from this company, do this, do that. In fact, you can even visit some companies that you like to work with, go and gather their data, create something amazing about them, go and present it to their HR or somebody in the company if any opportunity arises, right? So get your hand dirty, build a lot of projects, then build a portfolio. That's also very important because you need to document your journey. You need to build a portfolio to show, okay, so these are all the things I've been doing. If you are lucky enough to actually find an interview one day, you need to be able to have something you want to discuss with your interviewer. Then build a good resume. That's another thing that most people lack. While I was in Nigeria, I was leading a team of data analysts. I was leading a team there. I've done interview for a couple of people. And then when I see their CV and I hear them talk, sometimes what they say is different from what is in their CV. Sometimes their CV is just too basic. Sometimes their CV is just too much. So you should build a very good resume that can actually speak for you. You know, a CV is like there's something speaking for you when you're not there. So you need to be something that can introduce you well. Then job hunting, which is very important, right? Then we start job hunting. So how do you complete this roadmap? How do you start hunting for job properly? And then this is what this entire bootcamp is all about. It's not just about you learning as well. Now, in this roadmap, it is important for you to create your career plan. And the way to do this, if you want to really be a big data analyst, someone will say, okay, we have millions of people that are data analysts now. How can I be successful as a data analyst? Well, millions of people do different things and people actually survive, right? So first thing you should do is identify where you are this process that I just mentioned now, are you just learning the skills? Okay, you've learned the skill, you don't have any project. Okay, you have different projects you've done, but you have not built a structured portfolio. Okay, you have a portfolio, but you are not sure if your resume is cool. Okay, you have all of these, but you are still job hunting. So you need to identify where you are in all of these processes that I've mentioned here. Then you have to create an action plan of the next step. So you've identified that you're under learning the skill, you are still learning. Then you need to say, okay, so what's the next thing for me to do? When do I start learning? What do I learn? Right? Which project should I work on? How should I put my portfolio? Then once you identify the next step, create a time frame and weekly routine, which is what we've done for you in this workshop. We are also improving too. What we did last year is not what we are doing this year. This year, we noticed that we have a lot of more experienced people in the class. And then we have people that are basic too. So we kind of improve and we create a time frame and weekly routine for you. So you should do that. It is very important when you are creating your career path. Now, I'm just breaking down this roadmap. When we are talking about learning the skills, you should know that the skills we are talking about, we have different type of skills. We have the technical skills and we have the soft skills. So for technical skills as a data analyst, what you need basically, you should start from Excel. I always tell people, start from Excel. Excel is very, very, very important. But some people think, no, is Excel not just plus and minus? No, Excel is way, way, way beyond that. So you should start from Excel. Then also learn SQL, which is very important. You understand the language that most databases speak. Then you should also learn Power BI or Tableau, but I will advise Power BI because Microsoft is dominating the data analytics world. So I will always advise Power BI, and I'm also a Microsoft MVP. So the best visualization tool I will advise is Power BI. Then Python. Python is also something interesting that you should also learn. But if you are just getting started in your career, you don't actually need Python. Sometimes over the past 3, 4, 5 years now, I've not really used Python, right? So if just getting started, I've no advice you learn that. So those first 3 should be enough for you to get something decent. Then you can keep learning on the job. Then some soft skills you should learn include data literacy, statistics, communication, storytelling. Those 4 basically we help you go a long way. Data literacy, you should know more. You need to be of statistics, communications, and how to tell a very good story. Then for building a project, working a project will actually solidify your newly learned skill. If you don't work on the project, people don't even know that. Even your skills to potential employer. Imagine there was a dashboard I posted on LinkedIn in 2020. I created a dashboard about COVID-19, and then the TVC carry my dashboard. We're using it to report COVID on their news, and they invited me to speak about it. So you never can know who can see whatever you are putting out there. So just create something amazing, put it out there. Somebody can see it and they are just looking at you. And also make sure you have something to talk about during your interview, because if you build a project, when interviewer is asking you something, you know you have something to talk about. Okay, I've done this, I've done that. How do you do it? If you do that. So there's something I usually tell people. Projects will help you gather experience where there is no working experience. Some people will say, I don't have a working experience. That is why most organizations don't want to hire the experience where there's no working experience. So when you are talking to an interviewer, if I'm the one interviewing you, I'm expecting you to talk to me, even though you don't have any prior experience, I'm expecting you to talk to me from the perspective of the project you've done, how you solve that problem. And that will really help you a lot when you are doing interviews. So project is very important. Building a project is very important on your journey, and you should take note of that as well. The third one is building a portfolio. Portfolio is very, very important, right? And there's this quote that I made. I think I made this quote like 3 years ago, and this quote fly around for a while. I said, your portfolio is evidence of your learning journey, creativity, and growth. Without portfolio, no evidence, right? If you like, come to the interview and tell us you do this, you've done that, you are this, you can write Python on the sky, you can write SQL in heaven. Without nothing to show for it, there's no evidence. You just need to show something. We need to see that something you've done, right? So without portfolio, no evidence. So it is very important if you're starting your career to have a portfolio, right? And then it should be the portfolio that covers some basic industries, especially if you're looking for jobs. If you look for portfolio that cover basic industries like sales data, marketing data, HR analytics, financial statements, manufacturing or production, social media analytics. So you can build a portfolio that match each of these different industries. You never can know where the interview can take you one day. So if the interview take you to an HR space, you'll be able to talk because you've done a project related to HR analytics. You'll be able to say something. You'll be able to talk about the metrics you've measured. You'll be able to talk about how you've done something. Just so you know, these are just few examples, right? There are also so many other industries out there that you can try your hands on. But the most important thing is just make sure you build portfolio in different industries, right? And just keep them in your portfolio. That's why you're a data analyst, right? Then the last one, build a good resume. So you should create a data analytics focused resume. It's not like you create a resume where you've mentioned that, okay, you've worked as a general secretary, or you've worked as a customer service, or you've done this, you just mumble up your CV, right? Create a data analytic focused resume. Your resume should focus strictly on data, not like you are in different skills, right? Then highlight skills earlier and often. So you should just show something earlier. Nobody have 1 hour, 2 hours to read your CV. Show something very quick where we can easily see the skills that you have. And then add your project and portfolio website to your CV. It is very important, right? So people can see, they can go and see what you've done. Then turn your previous experience into transferable skills. The less is more. This is what I tell people too. Don't let it be too much. Less is more. Now, for job hunting, the advice I'll give you in terms of job hunting, we still do some sessions on that later. I'm just giving you like overview of this. So for job hunting, you should work with recruiters to get interviews. So you can actually work with a lot of recruiters. You can message them on LinkedIn. You can disturb them. The energy you have to disturb your friend, go and disturb recruiter like that. Look for a recruiter of a particular company. Keep sending them message every month. They will send a link to your portfolio. One day they will reply to you and they will tell they want to even see what you can do, right? Then reach out through LinkedIn, cold calls, cold emails, right? Do some cold calls, some cold emails. In fact, I've seen a guy that actually went to a company and tell them, I'm a data analyst. I've done this, I've done that. I know I want you guys to employ me, but I don't say you guys should employ me now. But if you can give me any of your data, let me analyze it for you for free. If I analyze this for you for free for like a month or two, you can decide whether you want to hire me or not. And the HR or the company actually give this guy an opportunity to do that. They just exposed him to one of their data and he did perfectly well. They can't actually let him go. They don't have a choice than to employ him. So reach out to people through LinkedIn, cold calls, cold emails. Don't just do, I apply through the link. They didn't get back to me. I've been saying, unfortunately, no, put some effort as well. Then apply to job through portals, LinkedIn, like that, which is what we usually do. Then find mutual connections and friends who can recommend you for internal jobs, like what I've done a lot for people. I've recommended a lot of people for jobs and like that. That so many times people reach out to me and say, we need a junior analyst, and I recommend people I know that are in my network. So now, all of these kind of gone back to our own mentorship plan, which is the roadmap that I showed you, which is the typical roadmap that I believe that if you're a good data analyst, if you go through this roadmap, there's nothing stopping you, right? So in our home mentorship plan, we've actually put some of these things into consideration. And then it's going to be a 6-week of intensive program where you'll be learning, you'll be doing a lot of competitions, you'll be having fun, you're having certifications and graduation. Fun part. I think in 2023, I came to Lagos and there was the sessions we did with the corporates that time. We actually had the fun at the beach. People organized a beach party. We went there. We see each other. We have fun. We talk career-wise. We give advice, and we met each other. So this class is going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we don't meet physically, but we can still have fun, virtual fun. All right. Now, what you're going to be learning, right, for the people that are under learning the skills, you'll be learning data literacy, you'll be learning Microsoft Excel, you'll be learning Power BI, you'll be learning SQL, and you'll be learning Microsoft Fabric, right? Coupled with some career sessions and then mentorship. So those are all the things that you'll be doing as well. And then if you have learned all these things before, there's no harm in improving your skills and improving yourself, and then collaborating with people. The way I learn is to teach, right? If I teach something, or if I practicalize something, it's kind of stay with me, right? Then the timeline, basically, we are starting today, which is Sunday, 2nd of November, 2025. And then we'll have an activities tracker and different live sessions. And we will finish on Sunday, 21st December 2025, where we do our graduation. And then we'll be doing a lot of weekly activities that will be completed when due. There are weekly activities we'll be giving you. Last year, we gave a lot of people a chance. In fact, we trained over 1,000 people last year. But this year we purposely reduced the numbers, because last year I noticed, because we take a lot of people, we take like 1,000 people, people start misbehaving. A lot of people did not even do what we tell them to do. So many people were not serious. So at the end of the day, I got tired, but we just push it to the end. But this year we've reduced drastically the number of people we give opportunity to. If only it's 100 people that are serious, and then we can be happy at the end of the day that, okay, we actually impart to this person, and this person is doing well. I think it's okay for me. I'm fine with that. Now, another thing we've created for you is a checklist and a tracker that we'll be using. You will be using this checklist and tracker. We will share this with your coordinator, and the coordinator and your team lead will share this with you at the end of this session. This tracker is what is going to show you what you need to do till the end of this session. So basically, this is how the tracker looks like. It's a Microsoft Excel document that has a lot of security in them, and it has a lot of things that we want you to do. So once you have this tracker or this checklist, the first thing you do is you put your name in here. You put your name in here, right? This is your own tracker, right? Just to be sure. And then you put your group in here. So I'm going to select my group here. So let's say I'm in EM1, right? So I put my name, I select my group, and I'm here. And then you see that my percentage completion is actually 0%. I've not done anything in this bootcamp. But the first session today is learning the skills, which is this live session here, introductions to the workshop. And then this is also the link to join the session. In case you are looking for the link, you can join the session from your checklist right here. Then once you are done with a particular activities or a session, you come to the status part. You can, like today now, you can start with started today. And then once we are done with the session at the end of the day, then you can do completed, right? Once you do completed, your completions change to 2%. It shows that you are now increased. You've started this. And then once you are done with these activities, there is a form here that you need to fill. So the next thing is you click the form, and then you complete the form to show that you've completed the activities. So you just come here, you put your name, you put your email address, you choose your group here, you select the session that you was done. This is the one, this first one. And then you just type something. Do you have any challenges in the activities? Few words about what you've learned. Then you rate yourself, and then you submit. So once you do that, we will be able to track that you've actually completed these sessions, and we know those that are serious and those that are not. And another news is that we'll be dropping people, possibly weekly, or move people somehow. So we know the ones that are serious, so we can actually separate the shaft from the real thing, right? So you have to fill the status. It's very important. You come to the status, started or not started, or you can say, yeah, not started. So you can fill as you are doing all of this weekly. Then the ones that are created videos, we make some created videos for your learning the skills as well. So you click the link here to watch these videos that we expected you to watch. So once you are done watching the videos and you've learned everything there, you come here, you change this to completed. So you know you have completed these activities. So this is the week one. So by the end of this week that we are starting today, we expect you to have finished all the activities we have in this week one, right? So we expect you to have finished all the activities we put here in week one. And then the last activities here is for you to post about what you've learned on LinkedIn, X, or whatever at the end of this week, which is 9th of October, right? So once you are able to do this, then you begin with week two. So this is the activities for week two. Then we also have another session here. So anyone that is a session, you see the session here, live session. So when you see live sessions, that means we have a live sessions like this. You'll come into a sessions, you ask the expert different things. The expert will also share different ideas about what you've learned in this week with you. And then all of us also ask questions, right? And the link to also join is here. So most of the sessions that is live session, you will see them here. You will see the live sessions here. You will see the ones that are videos for you to watch and all that. Then up to till we finish in week 5. So we expect everyone to have 100% completion here. And then we'll be asking you your weekly percentage completion as well. So you are 98% close to completion. So you have to make sure that you finish this. So this tracker will be shared with you, and then this will be your guide for each of the week. So team lead should also take notes. Your group must finish an activities in a week. We will be checking how many people fill this form, how many people completed these activities in each team, and they will be knowing which team is actually more compliance, actually, which team is more compliance. Every week we'll check that. There's also competition for a team. You can see group project here. There are projects that you'll be doing together as a team. So you pick any company and solve their problem with data. These are individual projects that you will do. Get your own data and create a dashboard in Power BI. We've put a link to Kaggle here for you to get data from here in Kaggle. So this checklist and tracker will share it with you, and this is what is going to be your guide to the end of this session. If you have any question, you can reach out to your team lead, your coordinator about the checklist, and they'll be able to answer you. Just so you know, this checklist is protected. You can't break it. Yeah, so that is it about the checklist. So how do we achieve our goal? We bring industry experts, like I said, a lot of assignments, project activities. Then you should always make tweets and post on LinkedIn about this session. In fact, at the end of today's session, just go on LinkedIn, type there, I attended these sessions today. This is what I learned, blah, 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 blah. I met at Diwali, I did this. So people can know that you are growing in your joining. You are learning. You have the zeal for learning, right? So post something on LinkedIn, post something on Twitter, tag me, tag Analytic Extras, and then let the world know what we are doing here. It is very important we let the world know what we are doing here, right? Then at the end of the workshop, if you really want to get the certifications, I will advise you go for Fabric and Microsoft Power BI certified data analyst, right? You can actually do any of these two conveniently by also looking at Microsoft Learn. You should be able to do this exam if you want to. These are the two very important exams that you should do as a data analyst. Then you should be industry ready for job opportunities. If you are very serious, at the end of the session, this mentorship should be industry ready for job opportunities. You should start surfing the internet. Then I can also help you some job opportunities from my pool of network. Sometimes I have people that reach out to me, like I said, so I can help with some opportunities from my pool of network. In fact, there are like an HR that reached out to me last 2 months in Port Harcourt that they needed 2 data analysts, and I was able to recommend like 2 people that are already in Port Harcourt. So sometimes I have these options like that to recommend people. So you may be lucky. I can also recommend you as well. And how do I know you are doing well? I will see your progress in the group, right? Then another thing is I will try my best to meet you in person. This is very important. I always love to meet my students in person. Let's chat, let's discuss. So I'll try my best to meet you in person. Hopefully or luckily, we're going to meet. For people that are in the US, I'll come to the US like in March next year and May next year. I'll be in the US in March and May. I'll also be in Spain in August. I'll be in Italy in April. And then I think I also plan to go to France in around September next year. So hopefully, UK, I'm not coming to the UK soon, but I'm in Ireland. Nigeria too, I'm not coming to Nigeria soon, maybe in 2 years. I don't plan to come to Nigeria now. So for those people in the location that I mentioned, if you're in the training and I just pop up in your location anytime, maybe I'm in Italy and you're from Italy and you're in these sessions, we probably meet for a couple of tea or coffee somewhere and then we just talk. So I'll try my best to meet you in person. And if I come to Nigeria as well, my Nigeria people will also try my best to meet you in person. Before I start or I continue with maybe giving you some little data, Germany, I don't plan Germany next year, but maybe upper year I may come to Germany. So if you have any questions, please, can you just put a question in chat? Let me just give you like 3 minutes to put the questions in chat before I just give you some tips on data literacy. So anyone with any questions so far? you want to ask anything so far, can you put it in chat? We'll give you like, let's do like 3 minutes for question. Okay, so there's one question from Joanne. She said, and if you want to speak, you don't want to type, you can raise your hand as well. I can allow you to speak. So Joanne said, can we get portfolio review? Yeah, definitely. So we can find a way. So you have a coordinator and you have a team lead, and you also have a mentor that will be assigned to each group. So we can give them opportunities. If you want somebody to review your portfolio, we can tell them to help you review and then give you feedback. We will learn some skills as well. And can we intermediate skills? Not sure I get that, Telila, if you can just structure that very well. Maybe what you are saying is, can you learn some skills? Yes, definitely. So the checklists are provided for you. We give you everything you want to learn from Excel to SQL to Power BI. So just make sure you do all your weekly activities and you will learn everything. Can the slide be shown all over again for some of us that miss one or two things? Okay, can the slide be shown once again for some of us? I mean, actually no, but the session is recorded, so you can watch it again. We're in the US. Yes, I'll be coming to Seattle and I'll be coming to San Diego, California. So if you are close to any of those locations, lecture timetable. That's the same checklist I'm going to share with you. Will you share the presentation with us? No. Wendy, sorry, typo. Can we get the recording of the session? Yes, Victoria. Put Nigeria among places you want to visit. Yes, definitely. I still have families in Nigeria, so I can visit maybe next year or per year, but it's not in my plan. There are a lot of entry jobs that ask for Python experience. You mentioned it's not really needed. Yes, most of those entry jobs, their HR does not know what they are saying, right? If the HR, in fact, HR does not even know the rules or what they are employing people for. Because if they are employing you for entry level as a data analyst, what do you want to use Python for? No. So sometimes they just put it there, but it doesn't stop you. So still attend the interview, tell them what you can do, tell them you are improving on Python, but most of the time, you won't really need Python to do what you want to do, to show them that you can do something, you can analyze data, right? Is portfolio website building something we can be exposed to? Yeah, something like that. We have a sessions on how to build a portfolio. How do you get inspiration in building a Power BI dashboard? Well, whenever somebody is taking you on one of these courses that you watch, right, it will explain all of that for you. How long with the classes each day? Well, it's not that long, right? In fact, even if you are spending like 1 hour or 2 hours of your time, 1 hour of your time every day is even okay to be able to finish up your weekly activities. If you spend one hour of your time every day, you'll be able to finish your activities. Can we, where there's no live sessions, are going to have access to PDF or whatever? Or can we become Power BI consultant or Power BI developer from this program? Yes, you can. Can be Facebook a place? Can Facebook be a place to build portfolio? No. Do we need cloud computing GitHub skills to build a portfolio? Not really. You can build a portfolio without understanding GitHub too much, but you can have a session on that. When there's no live session, they are going to have access to a PDF from the class, or how will the class go when there's no live session? When there's no live session, you learn yourself. So that is why we call it weekly activities. So when there's no live sessions, you're expected to learn all of this yourself, right? So you only come to the live sessions to ask questions, to speak with the speakers about what you've learned in the week. So you also have projects. So you also have projects that you come to the live sessions, right? You need to do your own projects. You need to do projects yourself. So get the data and then do the project yourself, right? You need to do the project. So you watch those videos. Like this week now, we've done the first live session. Once you have this template, just mark this as completed. Then you need to do all of this before the next weekend, right? So you need to watch these 2 videos and you need to build a project yourself, get your own data and then build a project yourself, right? You need to do this before you come to the live session. Okay, so I think that's I think that's enough for that. So one thing I also want to give you, I'm just going to talk like 10 minutes to see what we can. I said I want to talk a little bit about data literacy before we close. Um, Data literacy is something I also want to talk to you about because it is very important for your joining and then for you to understand the fundamentals. If you understand the fundamentals right, then you'll be able to learn perfectly. Now, for you to understand the fundamentals right, you need to understand that every organization in the world runs on two systems. Every organizations in the world, no matter where they are, which organization it is, they run on two systems. These two systems, we categorize them into operational system, which is used to execute the business processes, and the analytics system, which is used to evaluate business processes. Now, what do I mean? Operational system is a system that organizations use to collect data, to run their day-to-day business. Imagine when you go into a shop right now and you buy one or two things, you just pick some items, right? Or you go to Tesco, you buy one or two items. Now, when you buy these items, you notice that the cashier or whatever is there, whoever is there, is collecting this item from you and they are scanning it. As they are scanning it, they are putting the price and then you pay. Now, all these activities they are doing, they are running their business, they are executing their business. And as they are executing their business, all of this data is being stored somewhere, right? All of this data is being stored somewhere, listed somewhere. This is the amount of pure waters that was sold. This is the amount of mineral that was sold. Now, the second system is the analytics system, which is what we use to evaluate our business process. Imagine you are doing a business. How do you know whether your business is making money? How do you know whether which of your stores is making the best sales? How do you know which managers to reward? How do you know which of your products is doing well? How do you know your customer review, right? So analytics system help you evaluate your business process. This is why a data analyst comes in because you are very important in all parts of business. Now, some operational system can be an off-the-shelf system like SAP, Oracle, Dynamics 365, Swapcard, Zoom. It can even be a custom-built software built by a software developer, right? Now, analytics system is a system like Power BI, tools like Power BI that you use to analyze all of this data. It can be a Bexpo system, it can be Tableau. In fact, it can be our most old Excel. It can be the same old Excel, right? Now, what is data literacy? Data literacy just talks about how we gather data from data generation to how we structure the data, to data structure, how we store it. So, we gather, we structure, and then we store. How do we store this data? To data storage, data analysis, how do we analyze this data? Then we put some statistics on it, and then data-driven decision making, how we make decisions on data. So this is exactly what data literacy is all about. And when we are talking about data generation, data can be generated from anywhere, right? It can be generated from any part of anywhere, anything you want. In fact, if you look at this dashboard, you will see that data is everywhere. So this is the COVID dashboard that shows how COVID is being spread across different places. This is one of those dashboards that I said I built during COVID-19 that the TVC News called me for. So you can actually, data is everywhere. You can get data from wherever places you want to get it. You can get data from anywhere you think you want to get this data from. So it doesn't matter that the data is from a particular place or it's from a particular company. Everything about this world is basically data, right? Now, if you look at this picture, I want you to just type briefly in chat. What data can you see? Can you see any data in the picture? Just type briefly in chat. What data can you see? Total number of deaths, that's huge. Death care. This is not a mortuary. Or do you mean road accidents? Okay, number of customer on sales, number of umbrellas, number of people, customer segments, glow and techno, number of gender, number of shops, signboard, car and shops, traditional commerce data. Yeah, people, umbrellas, marketing and branding, type of business, cars. Yeah, all of you are actually right? Now, another thing I want to let you be aware is, if you're a data analyst and then you've been assigned to look at this area and come up with a kind of a data from this thing, I'm sure the first thing you would think about is people, right? You think about populations, you think about how many people have visited this place, what are the times that people visit this place, what is the kind of business that people come here to conduct. Those are the questions you ask. So what are the type of businesses that are here? Why do we have some shops? Why do we have some people that don't have shops, that they just sell on the roadside? So we have a lot of data here. How many businesses are here? Which of the business here is making a lot of sense? If you want to start a business here, let's say the question they ask you is, if I want to start a business in this market, what type of business should I start that will make me good money? Let me ask you, I want to invest in this place with this picture, this market. I just walk here. What type of business should I start here? And how do you advise me to start that business? Someone said restaurants. I'm sure you know restaurants won't work here, except it's those booker. The people here, the environment is not conducive for a good restaurant, except you are looking for booker. Food, yes, maybe some roadside food. Gadgets, yeah, basically I can do gadgets because based on what I can see, people come to this market to buy gadgets, phones, because there are so many technos, so many phones here. So basically people come here because of phones, right? So electronics. So we are all right. Now, the data here is what is going to give you the idea of the output you want to have. And that is why I said data generation is very key. And this is how most organizations generate their data. They start from thinking like all these data you see, right? Somebody sit down somewhere and generate them. For example, the COVID that I mentioned now, how do you think the data is being generated? Somebody actually run a test on a patient, and they found out that this patient is COVID positive, and the person took their time to write it down, right, in each local government. Now, each of the local governments send it to a state. A state has the total number of COVID. Each state send it to the country. The country has the total number of COVID. Now, each country contributes. So that data starts from that doctor somewhere or that nurse somewhere that actually recorded that somebody is positive. So that's why data generation is extremely important. If you're analyzing the data, you need to think backward to say, this data that I'm analyzing, how was this data gathered? What is the person that gathered this data thinking, right? And that is how you can bring out the best input from that data, right? That is data generation. Then data storage is also important. After you've generated the data, the next thing you will think about is, how do I store it? How do I store it, right? That's the next thing. And when it comes to database, we have databases. So database is an organized collection of data, generally stored and accessed electronically. So it's the way we manage and store and retrieve large amounts of data. So use a database. So you store your data somewhere. Even the good old Excel. In fact, you see something, you write it in Excel. That is storage, right? A Google Drive, you see something, you put one picture there. That is storage. So data storage can now be formed in terms of relational database and NoSQL database. So this will be explained very well for you in your SQL class. So you understand what a relational database is and then a NoSQL database is. Now, I don't want to dwell too much on that. Now, we have two types of data source. We have the on-premises and we have the cloud. The on-premises basically are the data you stored somewhere, on your server somewhere, on your laptop somewhere. Cloud is the one you stored online, right? You can retrieve it anywhere, right? That's the difference between an on-premises database and then a cloud database. Then once you have this, you supply this into a database, then data analysts connect to it, and then they bring information out of this. And those databases can be in terms of all of this example I'm showing in my screen. It can be SQL, it can be Salesforce, it can be Access, it can even be Excel, it can be Exchange, it can even be Facebook, right? Which is where people store a lot of data. Now, when it comes to structure, we have different types of structure. So we have the batch structure and then we have the good structure. But when it comes to structure, and I'm a bit rushed, I'll try to finish the structure and then maybe I will give you videos to watch on these data structures and understanding data literacy because of our time. Now, when it comes to structure, there's a rule that was created by a firm called Gibran Consulting. So they call it 7 golden rules of data management. And then the first rule is no empty column. So when you are structuring your data, make sure there's no empty column between your data, because when there's an empty column, that means that you separated the data set. You separate the data. The second rule is no empty rows. When you also put an empty rows, that means you've separated the data as well. So make sure there's no empty row. The third one is all data must be in a single column. This is fine for your report, but for your data, no. So when it comes to data, your month, your date or month or year should be in a structured column like this. January, February, March, April, May. In your report, you can have it like this. There's no rule in reporting, but in data, there's a rule. So you should all put all of them in a single column. That's a good structure. Then we have all columns must have a unique data type. So like this one, you will see that this is fine for your reporting as well. They just split service plan part, copy as we don't know what this is. But when you put them in a structured column, now you know all of these belong to a line of business in a structured column. Then we now have service plan part, copy as. Then we have the revenue, which is in front of them. The number 4 rule is no total or subtotal anywhere in your data. In fact, I have a guy that got sacked because of this rule, number 5 rule. So what he did is this guy had been analyzing the data for this particular company. And then this year, this guy says that the sales department is a sales analyst for that sales department. And he said they make 50 million, for example. And then this sales department has not been making 50 million. For the past 5 years, they have been making like 30 million, 25 million, 30 million, 25 million. So when he said they make 50 million based on the analysis he did, the sales team went to a party. They all jump up. They celebrate. They were happy. Now, the first department that questions these stories, finance department, they were like, okay, so the sales team are having a party that we made 50 million. Wow, we are happy. But where is this money? We can't see this money. So they started doing a lot of reconciliations. They started checking a lot of things. When the finance check, the finance noticed they make like 50 million, like 30 million, not 50 million. So they were like, where's the 50 million coming from? So after a thorough check, they called this guy back into an interview. So where did this 50 million come from? We are saying 30 million. This is when they find out that this guy actually sum up the total plus the actual number. Remember when you sum up this actual number plus the total. So when you get a data from a database or from wherever you get data from, before you analyze it, it is important you remove the totals and the subtotals. If not, it's going to actually affect your report. So in your report, you can have total, you can have subtotal, you can have anything. But in your data set, make sure you don't have any subtotal or total in your data set, right? This way, this guy was sacked and eventually he later got another job. So that's a story for another day. So no total or subtotal anywhere around your data. You can have your data total or subtotal in your report. That's fine. You can do anything you want. Like I said, there's no rule for report. Now, number 6, no obstruction around your data. Anything that is not part of your data should not be there, like something like this. If you want this to be part of your data, then make it a structure column, call it comments, remark, status, right? But anything that is not part of your data, don't bring it in, because that way people won't be able to trust your data, and it can actually give people the avenue to start suspecting your analysis. So no obstructions around your data. And the last one is single row of headings. Make sure you have only single row of headings like this. Only single row. Don't do trade at the top, date below. Now merge it like you do in Excel. Don't do that. You should only have a single row of headings. And if you're using some structured database, this will have been taken care of. So you don't need to worry about this one. Now, in summary, we have no empty column, no empty row. All dates must be in a single column. All columns must have a unique data type, no total or subtotal, no obstruction around your data, single rows of heading. So these are all the 7 golden rules of data management and data storage, right? So make sure you keep note of that. And then if I want to ask you a simple question, which of the rules do you think this data is breaking? Out of these 7 rules that I've mentioned, I want you to type in chat. Which of the rules do you think this data is breaking? Which of them? Type in chat. Type in chat, which of the rule do you think this data is breaking? Okay, I can see rule 6, total for date, obstructions. Yes, we have some obstructions here. We have a total here. Yes. Multiple headings. Yes, we don't even have any headings at all. We don't even have any headings at all. So yeah, this data is basically breaking a lot of rules, right? No empty column. We basically don't have any empty column, so I'm not sure it's breaking that. No empty row. We don't have any empty row as well, so I'm not sure it's breaking that, right? Yeah, so the last column must have a distinct header. So now you are already looking at how you clean the data up, because when you get the data from somewhere, you didn't clean it up well, your analysis is not going to make sense, right? Now, when you have a data like this that doesn't make sense, then the next thing you do is you clean it up, and then you use an approach called ETL. Can somebody tell me what an ETL means? Anyone want to try in chat? What do you think an ETL means? ETL. What does an ETL means? Type it in chat. Extract, transform, and load. Exactly. So when you have a data that is not clean, that is not well structured, so you use an ETL approach, which is extract, transform, and load. So you basically extract your data. What an extract means is you extract or you scrape your data from wherever it's sitting, right? Maybe it's in SharePoint, maybe it's in SQL, maybe it's in Excel. So you extract the data, then you transform it. So the act of transforming it is the act of getting it structured, getting it clean. That is what transform means. So you are cleaning this data, you are structuring this data, you are removing all this total and subtotal that I mentioned earlier. You are removing all these empty columns, empty rows, all these obstructions. You are structuring the columns into a structured columns. So you are transforming, right? So this is what transform means. Then once you are done with transforming the data, you now load. So you can either load it into a business intelligence tool, into a database, into an Excel, into whatever you think you like, right? But you need to go through an ETL approach, right? And then these are the tools that people use for cleaning. And these are many tools that people use. People use OpenRefine, they use CIBC, Melissa, they use IBM, they use WinPure, they use Power Query. Some people also use SQL. But out of all of this, which one do you think is the most popular? Anyone want to type in chat? Which one is the most popular for ETL? Power Query, yes. Power Query is the most popular out of them for you to use your cleaning. So for those that are beginners that are still learning here, if you go through all your activities for the week, you are still going to learn all of these tools and all of these things that I'm saying here. Yeah, all of these things that I'm saying here. Now, somebody asked a question last time saying that, does it mean we should not put total in our financial report at the end? If you listen very well, I'm talking to you the rules of data, not reports. You are talking about reports, right? In your reports, like I said, you can do anything. But when it comes to data, data must be clean and structured. Nothing like total, nothing like subtotal. It must be a flat data. Let it be as it is, right? So those are the tools for cleaning. Now, the next steps in data literacy is data analysis. Now, data analysis, what you should know is you are telling a story. Data analytics is telling a story. That is what data analytics is. So you are narrating a story. You are telling people this is how this should be, this is how this should be, and then you are telling them this is how it should be. And there are different ways that you can actually tell a story. You can tell a story through these 5 categories of analytics that we have. We have 5, right? You should write them down somewhere. We have the descriptive analytics, we have the diagnostic analytics, we have the predictive analytics, we have the prescriptive analytics, and we have the cognitive analytics, right? These are the 5 basic main type of analytics that you have that you can use to tell a very good story. Let me start with the first one. The first one that is called descriptive analytics. This is the most common one. This is what a lot of people do, right? So what you are doing in the descriptive analytics is you are analyzing your historical data, right? You are checking what has happened in the past. Say all of the data that you've gathered, you are checking, okay, so how many sales do we make last year? How many sales do we, how many company do we partner with? How many transactions was done? So you are analyzing historical data. You are summarizing large database to describe the outcome. Just summarizing large data. That is what a descriptive means. Just like it sounds, describing. I am describing the data, right? That's a descriptive type of analytics. Then we also have diagnostic. Diagnostic is also one very important one. Now, once you are done describing the data, sometimes you want to dig deeper to find the cause of a problem. For example, when we say we made 20,000 last year, now you are checking why. Whatever there is the question of why, that is a diagnostic analytics. So why do we make 20,000? Why not 30,000? So when the question of why came, you will now go and dig deeper to find the cause. So you say, so do we have an upward trend or downward trend? So you now find why. You diagnose. Remember when you go to the doctor, right? And then the doctor, you just tell the doctor, oh, okay, I'm having malaria. And they say, okay, so let's run some diagnosis, right? So you are running some diagnosis on your data to check why. So you are looking at the performance indicator and you have further investigation to discover why they got better or worse. That is a diagnostic analytics. That's another type of analytics, right? The third one is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics, just like the way it sounds. You are predicting to the future. You are checking into the future. You are looking at the trends and you are saying that based on this trend, are they probably like to reoccur? What is going to happen in the future? So you are forecasting, right? So you want to know what may happen in future. This is called predictive analytics. So you are predicting. To say, okay, so based on this trend and this, based on what I've checked, this is what I think is likely going to have in futures. If you have heard of financial modeling, some people do that in finance, right? They do financial modeling, so they model into the future, right? If you also learn some predictions in analytics, right, and forecasting, you also do those type of analytics, right? The next one we have is prescriptive analytics. This is usually made by a business analyst most of the time, right? It's called a prescriptive. Just imagine you go to a doctor and then they've diagnosed you. They've done different things. They've tested you. Now the next thing they're going to tell you is, can we prescribe a drug for you, or can we prescribe a medicine or whatever? So this is called prescriptive. So you're using an insight from your predictive analytics, from your diagnostic analysis, from your descriptive analytics. You are using that to drive a decision making, right? So these techniques allow business to make informed decision. So most of the time, business analysts are the one that make this type of analysis, and also a data analyst. So it's called a prescriptive. So you are prescribing what you think should happen, right? And then we have cognitive analysis. So cognitive analysis is what you do to check what may happen if some circumstances changes, how you may handle this situation. So now we are talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning here to test the cognitive part of the data to say, this something happened, right? Something happened. What may happen if some circumstances changes? And this is where a data scientist comes in, right? To write some machine learning on the data to check, okay, so how does this pattern occur? If this circumstance changes, what will happen? How will you handle these situations in the future, right? And then you use machine learning to text that. That is done mostly by a data scientist, right? And that is a cognitive type of analysis. So those are the different type of analytics that we have. Now, when we are talking about tools for this analysis, there are so many tools for analytics. There's many tools that people can use, but the tools I usually recommend is Microsoft Tools. You can see that according to the Gartner's report, Microsoft Tools is the one leading here. So any Microsoft tools, Microsoft Fabric, Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft SQL, any of the Microsoft tools is the best to use here, right? So I usually advise that. Now, what is really the reporting that we are talking about? It is you just doing actual versus last year. Now, my slide is a little bit fast. So it is you discussing actual versus last year, actual versus this year. So you're comparing actual versus actual based on time. So what do we make versus what we make last year, versus what we make last month, versus what we make last quarter? You're doing comparison. So reporting basically is about comparison. You are comparing. Anytime you are doing analysis and you do not find yourself comparing something, then you are not doing any report, right? So this is me comparing sales versus sales last year, sales versus sales this year, sales versus sales quarter to date. So this is revenue versus this. These are all of the actual, and I'm comparing them. And sometimes it can also be actual versus some basic elements like competitors, like budget, like benchmark. So you can also compare actual versus some other numbers like that, right? Now, when it comes to analytic process, we have a basic analytic process. The first thing in analytic process is you basically download the data from wherever the data is sitting. After you download the data from the operational system, you clean it. That's the second process. After you clean the data, then you perform what's it called? Analytic on put KPI. So you perform the KPI, you do the analytics, then you populate a template, you make regular presentations to the management, and then they brainstorm on the numbers. So this is the 6th analytic process. Now, out of this process, which one do you think is the most important? Is it when you download the data? Is it when you clean it? Is it when you do the report? Or is it when you make presentation? Can you type in chat? Which of them is the most important? 2. Everybody is saying 2. 2. Cleaning. 2. Cleaning. 2. 2. 2. Cleaning the data. 2. Cleaning data. Someone said 6. Someone said 3. Someone said all. Don't pick all, just pick one. Okay, so everybody says 2, 2. Someone said 5. Now, let me tell you, it's only one person that got it. And that person is Otim. The name is Otim, right? And that is number 6, right? The most important in all of this process is actually number 6. And do you know why? The reason why the number 6 is very important is because whatever you do from number 1 to number 5, it does not concern the stakeholders. It does not concern your report users. It does not concern your manager. Whether you spend hours in cleaning, that is your job, right? The most important thing in the analytic process is when they brainstorm on number, they just want to look at the report you make and they want to make a good decision. And that is what it matters. Every other thing does not matter. Whether you spend 5 years in cleaning it, what they just want to do is they just want to look at number 6. They just want to brainstorm. People just want to brainstorm on the number. And that is why for you as a data analyst, you must understand that number 6 is what is important to your users, not you. Nothing is important to you because you are the one that is building this report. You are building it for somebody to use. And you should know that what is important to that person is number 6. So you have to make sure that from your number 1 to number 5 is actually accurate. And it's something that can help the number 6. Right? So that is the typical analysis process. Now, when it comes to building a visuals or visualization, I'm going to hand up in the next 5 to 6 minutes, and I'll allow you to ask questions. Now, when it comes to building a visualizations, one thing you need to understand is all you need is standard. All you need to be able to build a good report is standard. If you go to Google today and you type good PowerPoint presentation, I'm sure you will see different type of designs influenced by how people were thinking as at the time they were building it. If I ask you this dashboard and this dashboard, which one is do you like most, or which one is the best, or even this third one, which one is the best? I'm sure people will pick, I think it's the first one, I think it's the second one, I think it's the third one. Actually, they don't look alike, and all of them are trying to say the same thing, right? They're all trying to do reporting. If I also go to Google and I type financial dashboard or good report, I'm sure you will see different type of report. You see it there, right? And they doesn't look alike. Now, this is what we call semantic notations. Semantic notation simply means what look the same what mean the same should look the same. But when you look at other discipline, it doesn't work like that. But in business, we just do things the way we like. But in other discipline, things work fine. For example, if I show you this thing, this is called sheet music, right? Who do you think is the giver, or let me say is the sender of this? Who is the sender of the sheet music? Who is the sender? Who is the sender? Basically, you know that the sender is anybody that can write music, anybody that knows how to sing, that can write a sheet music. That's the sender, right? And who do you think is the receiver of this? What do you think is the receiver of this? Anybody that can read music, that can sing, that can follow this thing and play it in an instrument or something, right? That is the receiver. And this kind of communication is a one-way communication. And the reason why it's one-way is if you write any sheet music in Nigeria and you take it to Germany, did any singer there can read it? Yes, they can. If you write a music in Germany and you bring it to the US, any receiver there, anybody that can sing, they can. Right? They can. So that is the one-way communication. And if you go to Google and you type sheet music, you notice that all of them looks the same. There's no color. There's no different one. They all look the same, which means it's a one-way communication. When you look at traffic light, I'm sure you know the sender of this is who? Who is the sender of the traffic sign? Anybody knows? I can say maybe road safety. You can say police. You can say this. But who is the receiver? The receiver. Yeah, someone said drivers. Yes, drivers, but not just drivers, road users, all road users, whether you are driving, whether you are walking, whether you are doing whatever, all road users, basically. And you would say this is a one-way communication as well, because I'm sure everywhere in the world, red means stop, amber means get ready, and green means go, but not in Nigeria, Sha. Some part of Nigeria, red means go faster. Sorry, that was just a joke, right? So now, red means stop, amber means get ready, and then green means goes, right? So this is one-way communication. And everywhere in the world, people understand that this is one-way communications. I need to kind of make sure that I follow these rules. If you drive in anywhere in the country, the road signs are the same. The rule of the roads are the same, right? And that's one-way communication. Even in construction as well. If you draw a plan in the US and you bring it to Nigeria, the developer or the builder in Nigeria will be able to build the same thing for you. So this is one-way communication. Now, in business or in visualization or in analysis, there is no semantic notation. There's no semantic notation. If you look at this report, all of them are talking about balance sheet, but they build different things, right? Which doesn't make any sense. Since we are all talking about the same thing, then we should something that makes sense, that look the same, right? That is where this quote by a body called International Business Communication Standard says, whatever looks the same should also mean the same and visualize in the same manner. So this body comes together, they are called IBCS, International Business Communication Standard. And what they did is they unified the way we do things, right? They created semantic notations and everything in dashboard, in business things. So they said if you are building the dashboard and you are doing anything on text and line, they said color and pattern are strong design medium. You should not misuse them for decorative purposes. Don't just use them for decorations, right? If you're building dashboard, text and line should be in black. They believe it should be in black, but it doesn't mean that it should be in black, but you should pick one color, and that is standard. If you're talking about actual should be in solid color, which is just one color, not you picking color, different color, right? Just pick one color, one very nice color, right? And use it. Then we also have previous year. When you're talking about you're comparing actual versus previous, should you use a little bit lighter color to what you have as your actual to show that this is a previous year. So we see the solid color and you see the ash for the previous year. So that is their own theory anyway. Then they also come up with a budget. If you're talking about budget or target or forecast, you should use this arch. If you want to talk about plan or budget, you should use this outline. So they just create all of this. So if you want to read more about IBCS, you can go to ibcs.com and read more about International Business Communication Standard. Then when you're talking about good, you should use green. If you're talking about red, you should use, if you're talking about bad, you should use red. And then you can pick any neutral color to highlight whatever in your dashboard. So that is them. and that is what they think it should be, right? So that is just me giving you a little bit of data literacy tips and also introducing you to the workshop. Just like I said, we will give you the checklist at the end of this workshop. It will be given to your coordinator to share it with the team lead and make sure everybody have it. And then we'll be able to move ahead from there. So thank you so much for joining to these sessions. My name is Adewale Yusuf again. If you are not following me on Twitter, make sure you follow me at Adewale Analyst. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to Analytic Extra. Follow me on LinkedIn if you also want to. So I'll give the mic back to Samson now. In case anybody wants to speak, maybe you have a questions you want to speak, we'll give like 10 people access to speak, and then we'll answer your questions before we close off for today. So back to you, Samson.
Oh, I don't know how many people were actually following Mr. Adewale, but if this class has been interesting, can you just give it up for Mr. Adewale? This is very, very excellent. Just put your chat. How was the class? Just give your emoji. So thank you so much, sir. This is very, very wonderful. So we have a few minutes to the end of this class. So if you have any question, please just raise your hands. Your microphone will be unmuted so you can speak. All right, I can see some hands, and I'll be unmuting Joanne. So Joanne, you are number one. Your microphone is unmuted now. You can ask your question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly, Joanne.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Dewale. Thank you so much for the opportunity and the program. So I just wanted to ask, I saw the program outline, the checklist you shared. Personally, I've learned the skills. I've done some projects and I have a portfolio. In fact, at the point I had to take up a I said, okay, instead of just being idle, let me just take up a job relating to what I was doing before while I still build. But working full time most times is not really easy if you're not really disciplined. So on this particular track we're doing, do you suggest I follow through everything? Like, what would be your advice? Because I really want to come to a point where I can actually be very confident to interview for a data role. Because even the one I interviewed for, they had asked me that they can see from LinkedIn that I've done some data projects if I had experience, and my answer was no, that I've already done projects. So like, what would be your advice for me to really benefit from this mentorship program to get myself to that point?
Okay, can you hear me, Joanne?
Yes, I can.
Uh,
I can hear you.
I think I got your question perfectly. So you're saying that you've done a lot of learning the skills. In fact, you built a portfolio, and then you just maybe I should just yes, yeah. Um, Basically, what you should do, I would say you should still So I would say you should still follow the checklist, Joanne. It's something important that you should follow because in those checklists, a lot of sessions that you can actually teaching is different. So if you go through all of the checklist and then you check some of the videos we're giving you to watch, you've done some of the projects we're giving you to do, then the live session as well, you can also join the live session, ask industry questions related to each of these things. And then you can also find a way to kind of review your portfolios as well. I think somebody mentioned that earlier. Say, okay, so if this portfolio is okay, then some sessions are also coming about job hunting that you can ask questions and then get an idea of how to actually hunt normally. So even though you've done learning the skills before, I will advise you Samson, can you hear me?
Yes, we lost you for a bit, so but we can hear you now. Can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you, John. Can we go to the next person?
All right, so the next person here is Abubakar Amisu Zango. Your mic is unmuted. You can speak now. Abubakar, can you hear me? I just unmute your microphone. If you can speak, please speak. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so Abubakar, your hand is raised up. So if you can speak, can you speak? Your mic is unmuted. All right, so I'll just move to the next person. So the next person is Ainde Samson Oluwafemi. So please go ahead with your question. Ainde Samson, if you can speak, please speak. Your mic is unmuted.
I think we only have 4 people that raised their hand. If you can just unmute 4 of them, anybody that speak first, and then you just answer so we can round up.
Okay, so Akinyade cannot speak. So Oyekunle, please go ahead and ask your question. Your mic is unmuted. While Kingsley get ready as well.
If you can't speak, you can
Oyekunle
type your
Motosho.
question in chat.
Okay, so Kingsley, if you are ready, you can speak. Your mic is unmuted. Just anyone. Durosimi, your hand is also up. You can speak. Your mic is unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me? This is Kingsley.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can hear you,
Kingsley,
Kingsley.
please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for this section. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, will I say you're a God saver in the sense that data analytic is what I've been reading. Like my experience of it have been what I was able to download and read. But with the this thing that you brought up, the graphics and the presentation, I was able to actually get more into it. I want you to throw more light on the aspects that you said. You say that we can represent columns or columns with different colors. Then you now say that analytics is not reporting, that there's a difference between the two. Please, can you expatiate on that?
Okay. Regarding colors, I think I was just talking about visualizations, and then when it comes to colors, the best way to use colors and then to standardize colors that you use in your report or in your visuals. So there are standard colors that you should use. In fact, once you start some of those exercises, you will see some videos I will explain more on the colors part to say is that don't use more than 2 or 3 colors in your dashboard and your report. So it doesn't look like you are doing rainbow color, right? That's the aspect of the color that I talk about. And then I also talk about reporting, right? Reporting is basically you report, just the way it sounds, right? It's different from analytics. So analytics is you analyzing the entire data set. You are going through all the entire process that I've mentioned, from data generation to storage to analysis. Now, reporting is you're giving a report on something. So we've given you a data, and then we want you to report on this data. And I said mostly when you are doing the reporting, you should do more of comparison. Don't just give me actual number. You should compare something versus something. Even though it's maybe this year versus last year, do that. Or this year versus budget, this year versus compare it to other companies to benchmark, something like that. So that's the part I explained, right? I hope that's clear to you, Samson or Kingsley.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Joshua Udofia is Your mic is unmuted. You can please speak.
I'm seeing that you're currently trying to speak to. You can speak up.
Yeah,
Yeah, ma'am.
you can also speak. Joshua, you're trying to speak. Can you go ahead, please? Joshua or Oyekunle, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hello,
Yeah,
can you
we
hear
can
me?
hear you, but it's very low.
Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
All right, so please, just one person at a time. Oyekunle, do you want to go ahead first?
Okay. So, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Adewale. I really appreciate the class. But you said something on the sixth step, whereby so many people choose the step two, which is the cleaning. But well, I'm not trying to. We know that everybody has his or her own opinion, but from my own perspective, for anyone to brainstorm on a data or a number given, which is the end product of a data set, they say the data has to be in order, in good
Okay.
condition. Just like you have already given us different uh, application we can use in cleaning the data. So I think
Yeah.
from my own perspective, I think the most important part of any data is the cleaning data.
Okay.
Is the cleaning of the data, because if the data is not properly being cleaned,
Yeah.
then the brainstorming of that very particular number, we have a question at the end. We have a question mark, and
Yeah.
which shows that your integrity in giving out results will be questioned at the end of the day.
Yep.
So that is from my own perspective. I think the cleaning of the data should be the top priority. The top priority. My own
Okay, just to
perspective.
comment on
So
that,
okay.
it's a good perspective. You are right, but almost right, not really right, because that's what almost everybody pick, cleaning the data. And if you remember what I said is, each of the step in the typical process, all of them is important. There's no step that is not important. In fact, getting the data is important. Cleaning is important. The report you're bringing out is important. But to a stakeholder and to your report users, you are building a dashboard for me. Whatever steps you go through in cleaning it, I don't want to know. Did you want to come to your stakeholder and say, okay, I remove one column, I make sure that this data is clean, I make sure this, I just want to brainstorm. So the other part is for you as a data analyst to make sure that from step 1 up to step 5 is accurate. Do you understand what I mean, Mr. I'm not sure I get your name correctly, Oyekunle? So
Yes.
it is the responsibility of you to make sure that from step 1 to step 5, it's very, very accurate. So, like for example, I bought a chair. I want to give you another example. I bought a chair from IKEA, right? And then the first step is I order. The second step is they load the car from IKEA. The third step is they transport, right? They transport the car. They deliver the product to my house. What do you think is the most important thing to me in all of those process?
Getting the chair to your house.
Getting the chair. Whatever happened on the road, maybe they have an accident, maybe something blocked the road, maybe the goods fell on the road and then they have to go and pick another one. It does not concern me. It is the responsibility of IKEA to make sure that from ordering the product to transporting the product to deliver the product to me in good manner, that the product is not spoiled. What is important to me is getting the product. Do you understand now, Mr. Yukule?
Yeah, I really
Yeah,
understand. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right,
Let's take from one more
Joshua.
person. Let's take from one more
Okay,
person. Anyone we can get, and then I
okay.
just round up. Yeah.
Just yeah. Anyone? Joshua, Akinyade, Iwoma, Drosimi. Anyone first?
Good evening. Good evening, and thank you very much for this great insights. Can you all hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Loud and clear. Loud and
Okay.
clear.
Yeah. My question is actually, or more of like, I need more clarification on data cleaning. because yeah, I'm just getting into data analysis. So
Yeah.
imagine I have a lot of data and I have a lot of I have I have so many things I'm doing, and in data cleaning, I didn't really get the fact of that data cleaning. What
Mhm.
advice can you?
I think something went off. Is that only me?
Oh,
Yeah, Mr. Akinyide, can you still hear him? I can't hear him anymore.
not Akinde. That was Joshua
Oh, okay.
Udofia. Yeah, Joshua Udofia.
I think Joshua went
Sorry,
off.
Joshua. Can you
Uh,
can you just continue, please?
Okay, yes, sir.
yeah, so you were
Can you hear
saying
me?
yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so I said I need more clarifications on data clean because owing to the fact that imagine I want to do data clean and I have a lot of data and going through it one by one might be kind of stressful. Yes, I might go through that stress, but is there a way I can probably go around, or what are your advice as regards that in data cleaning? Owing to the fact I have a
Okay.
lot of that.
Yeah, so the first one I'm going to give is the example I've given you on data structure, the 7 golden rules. That is going to help. And then the second one is there are some standard things you need to do in data. And data cleaning does not fix to a data. Different data has different issues. In fact, some data can have maybe typing issues. Maybe somebody's typing, somebody wants to type Lagos, another person type Lagos or Logos or Lugus, right? It is the responsibility of you to find out these issues. Sometimes it is when you finish the analysis that you start finding those issues, and then you go back and you start fixing it. So, but the basic one that you should go through is the 7 golden rules of the data, getting all the data structured, right? Then any other issues that come up, sometimes some those issues you just see them, like a column just have too much space. Maybe you write two names and there's too much space. There are different things you can trim, you can expand and do all those things. So that is specific to the particular data you are analyzing. And that sometimes most of those things come with experience. And when you start seeing data and you say, okay, so this data has these issues and I need to fix this. This data has this and I need to fix this. So sometimes that's what we help. I hope that's answer your question, Joshua.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Let's take one more on Drew Simi Kabirat that raised his hand. Akinyede, I can already see your own question in chat. I'll just answer to that once we hear from Drew Simi Kabirat. Kabirat, you
Drosimi,
want
you
to
can
unmute your mic?
speak. Drosimi, you can go ahead and speak. Your mic is unmuted.
Okay. Maybe I should just answer Akinyade while we are expecting out your meet. So Samson Akinyade, so your question is about AI, and then people are saying that AI is taking over most of the things we do. AI is doing a lot of analysis. Yes, we should be scared, but one thing I usually tell people is AI cannot take over our job, right? AI will only take over those people that can't use AI. It will only take over their job. So analytics has evolved. There are different ways you can work smarter with AI. So what you should do is be at the front of that. So AI will only take over the jobs of people that don't know how to use AI. So what you should be learning is how to even use AI to be more efficient as a data analyst, right? So there are some critical thinkings that AI will not do for you that you will need to do as an analyst, and that is why domain knowledge is also very important in some professions, right? So AI is not taking over our job. Hopefully that answer your question. Hamirat, is your mic open now? Okay, so just to round up briefly, everybody make sure don't forget to post about what you've learned on different social medias today. Make sure you post and then interact with people. And then the first thing you should do today, right, is go to your checklist. Go to your checklist. Let me share my screen just one more time before we close. Go to your checklist once you have it today. Go to that checklist. Then in the checklist, the first session that you have completed, you are supposed to complete this week. This is what you need to complete this week. This week, you need to complete this. So go to the learning session that you have done today, which is the introductions to the workshop and roadmap. Mark the status as completed and fill this form. Let's make sure we do this today so that we can see those people that are really comply at the end of the sessions, right? Thank you so much, everyone. So happy to do this with you one more time, and then looking forward to meet you in person. So maybe you can use AEM or see you. Over to you, Samson. Bye.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Adewale, and thanks so much all for joining today's section. I hope you've learned one thing or the other. This class was so amazing. For me, it's just like a refresher class and a course again. So you want to go back to your groups and just make your class interactive, discuss whatsoever you have learned, and go to your LinkedIn and post something. It's so good you post so that you can network. Also network your colleagues. Ask for their LinkedIn profile and just connect with each other, and we'll see you next time on this same call in the next live event. All right, we have to close the call right now. Thank you, and if you want to enjoy the music you can stay back. Bye for now.